Welcome to the first Climbing Conditioning Workshop 2011. It was held at Durham Climbing Centre in association with the Northern Integrated Health Practice, and we focused on shoulder girdle function. The aim of the workshop was to look at the relevance of the shoulder girdle for climbers and their health and their performance. We were going to look at the functional assessment so we can identify specific areas to work on and then develop flexibility, stability and strength through a step-by-step process. We spent a little bit of time looking at the shoulder girdle and rotator cuff anatomy and how this can help us reduce injuries and do a lot of injury prevention work. Using a model that I work with, we can start with assessments as always and then use various methods working down through to actually enhance health, performance, specifically shoulder girdle function. So it's essential that we start with assessments so we identify areas that actually need work, whether it's posture, flexibility or strength. As far as a simple posture analysis goes, we often see a kind of kyphotic posture where we have sort of increased curvature through upper, mid, back, and then when we progress to movement screening, like maybe a push-up or a pull-up, we can see how this actually affects that, or even watch on the wall and see how we're moving and how we're climbing and see if we have any compensatory patterns. Progressing the assessments might involve looking at flexibility, so identifying which muscles are tight and maybe which muscles are maybe long and weak, so the difference between your tonic and phasic muscles. Because we were looking at shoulder girdle function, we did focus a little on sort of pecs, lats, thoracic rotation, but it's worth noting that even tightness and restriction down at left ankle may be causing issues up at right shoulder. This is how integrated we know the body is. To somewhat complete the assessments, we can look at structural balance, which really tells us whether we have an imbalance of our pushing or our pulling movements, or maybe our remedial lifts. Technique taught to me by Charles Poliquin. So finally, as we have assessed ourselves and identified our own individual requirements, we can then put together some sort of approach which looks at conditioning that, instead of just following a one-size-fits-all approach or the latest magazine workout or something like that. So here's a sort of proposed sort of 6 steps approach that could be taken. Step 1, before we do anything else, we're looking to enhance tissue health and reset those movement patterns. We can then forward on to some specific postural exercises, some thoracic mobility, the right kind of stretching techniques from PNF and active isolated work. Then before we necessarily go through to strength work, we're going to work on the stability through the rotator cuff and some real injury prevention work. Thanks for watching and listening. Hope to see you at the next climbing conditioning workshop.